Hello everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 5th episode of Dino Charge, Breaking Black. Now you got a clever title there, Saban. I like it. So this starts out in a restaurant and Chase is flipping burgers in the back. Well, on his phone, doing something. Yeah, that's not gonna lead to trouble at all, is it? And the rest of the crew is there, doing their usual routine there. Until Shelby comes to her table and there's a customer there, but Chase is trying to hit on her, when he was supposed to be watching the grill. So of course it catches on fire. Now later on in the back, I think it might be their base or something else in the museum, but he's pretty much being scolded for starting the fire, and that he could have given away their base of operations, but he's taking it pretty lightly. So from now on he'll pay attention to Moana, and they wonder what? Apparently some older woman walks in. She's some sort of fortune teller that needs his help. She thinks some kind of thief is going to steal from her shop, and she believes she can rely on Chase because of his special strengths. To which Morgan gets a bit of a smartass and says to make sure to have a fire extinguisher. So yeah, we'll see how much of a screw-off this guy really is. So he looks around the shop and Moana tells him not to touch anything or break it, and to stay alert. So he just sits in a chair and watches around. He goofs off, listens to music, listens to his phone, eats snacks, messes with some of her merchandise. Not mess with it, just play with it a little because he's bored. But eventually, he falls asleep. And once he does, some sort of crow monster enters the shop, and he's trying to steal some sort of pendant. Kind of looks like a vault lock if you ask me. A golden one. But it wakes him up and Chase tries to stop him. He hits him with some sort of energy that turns his eyes yellow. But it flickers back and forth between his usual eyes and he chases him on a skateboard. Because why not? And when he goes behind a car, he does his morphing there on the sidewalk. That's one way to keep your identity hidden so long as no one's on the street with you. Eventually he tries to hide in a warehouse, but they end up fighting and the other Rangers come to assist. Unfortunately, he's too fast for them, even with their armored powers. So he grabs Tyler to use as a human shield. And apparently, Chase's eyes start flickering yellow again. Tries to order him to shoot him, but he hesitates trying to resist that order. Apparently it's some sort of mind control, or body control. But it doesn't work and Chase just ends up standing still. Shelby attacks with her drill arm. Still doesn't do much, but eventually Riley shoots at him and he runs off. And Chase, feeling bad about what happened, just asks for some space to be left alone. And back in orbit, Sledge is pissed off as usual. He says he's gonna put Spellbinder, that's our monster for the week, in solitary confinement. Until he finds out that the Black Ranger is now under his spell. It just needs some time to fully kick in. And during that whole exchange, you can see Curio. The little fellow is just dancing around in the background, because reasons. Now back beneath the museum, Kendall is making something called the Dino Spike Charger, but it needs all 5 of the Rangers to work. And of course Chase isn't himself. But Keeper, yeah, he's finally doing something again, senses something is wrong with his mind, and he needs to break the spell. So the rest of the crew decides to visit Moana to see what was stolen. Maybe it has a clue. Of course, Koda, being so naive, calls her the woman of black magic. I wonder what other kinds of interesting words he's going to come up with. And Chase, while he's still with Keeper, has a look of anguish in his face, as he's trying to resist the feel of it. Keeper tells him that he can't change the past, but he can learn from it. I guess he should have stayed focused on that shop, shouldn't he? Now, when the other Rangers talk to Moana, they find out that the pendant was made from dark magic in New Zealand. Of course, New Zealand. Makes it so convenient to make it that's where Chase is from. I mean, that's why he's susceptible to it. But if he can focus hard and long enough, he can break it. Of course, you ought to doubt his ability to do it, but Moana explains that he can focus deeply. And for that, we get a flashback to some time before, where some of a baby carriage rolled away, belonging to her. And of course, Chase on his skateboard decides to chase after it. And I'm saying the word chase in many different ways a lot. Now, unlike this scene in the middle of Mighty Morphin, this does not take half an episode. More about a minute. And when a truck is about to hit it, he jumps over and grabs what's ever wrapped up in the blanket inside, and brings it back to her. Of course, Moana is so relieved and happy. And it turns out inside it's not a baby, but a little cat. And he looks almost disgusted at it. He's like, I just risked my life for. And then Moana just looks at his face, seeing how happy she is that she got it back. It's like the most beautiful little kitty. I just found that to be really funny for me. Maybe it's also because I like cats too. To reward him for his courage, she takes him inside the shop and gives him a box. And inside it is the black energem, which for some reason had a purple glow to it. Don't know why, considering he's black, but that's what they chose. So they all figure that he can focus perfectly when he's on his board, so maybe that's all he needs to break the spell. Now Keno detects aliens somewhere in the city, so the Rangers go to face them, but Chase has disappeared. And Curio is there with Spellbinder and I think it's Wrench. I keep forgetting that one minion's name that keeps showing up. And surprisingly, they all have an unmorphed battle, and it's pretty damn impressive. It's like Spellbinder hits the other 3 Rangers with his spell, and they're all trying to stand up and resist it. And our boy Chase walks in front of him, his eyes glowing yellow. It actually has a pretty cool look and sound to him. He's saying, you defied my master, I'll destroy you. I really like the way he sounds. He should talk serious like that more often than just his regular fighting. And Shelby is backed up, but some sort of thing on wheels. I don't know exactly what it's called, but she slides it over to him and he jumps on top of it, very skillfully. He ends up sliding right in front of her, holding his blaster, but then he spins around on it. His face is Spellbinder. And of course the words he says is, control this. But pretty much he turns it back on him and blasts right at him, and it lets up the other Rangers. At which point it's time for the real battle to begin, and Chase leads the morph for the battle. Of course, when they show the 5 at once in the sequence, he's not front and center, which I would have put him there, but that's just a minor detail. They'd obviously be using it like normally. All 5 of them are fighting. Curio is barely fighting back. He's acting like a little kid. He runs away, saying he doesn't like them. So Spellbinder is left all on his own, and to finish him they use the Dino Spike Charger, which basically combines all their weapons into one, so that they can pull off the Dino Charge Final Strike. Come on, you could have used a little more than that. You're beyond Megaforce now. Of course, an angry Sledge makes him grow, but Chase finally reveals his own Zord, the Parazord. For some reason it's being summoned from like a castle at night. And really the way it looks reminds me of some sort of Digimon showing up, like a high level one. And it just looks really cool the way it introduces itself. And Tyler is looking a little too energetic. He says, let's combine our Zords and have awesome powers. Yeah, Tyler, I really don't know what kind of person I expect him to be anymore. He seems to go back and forth between super intense serious and just way too enthusiastic. But anyway, they form the Pararaptor formation of the Megazord, and the Parazord N has a rapid fire blaster he can use. And to destroy him, its finishing move is the Firebolt finish, which is basically some big energy ball that destroys him. Sledge is pissed that he could have just gotten the bounty instead of wasting his time on Spellbinder, but somehow that pendant that he was wearing ends up on the ship. Apparently it glows with some sort of power as well. So who knows? Foreshadowing to something later? Time will only tell. Now, for a bit of funniness to end off the episode. Coda's smiling when they're slowly walking inside. It appears that the museum is closed or closing. He's looking over some sort of paper, and he's saying, I believe it's Chase's turn to clean floors. And he says, alright, I can focus on this. He gets on his board, puts his headphones on, and starts cleaning it up real good. He thought, hey, maybe he's doing better now. But then Shelby looks at the schedule and says, hey, it's Coda's time to do it. And they just laugh and Coda says, well, maybe you should concentrate on the schedule too. Alright, Coda's growing up. First he learns how to talk, then to ride a bike, and now he is learning how to trick people. I think he's going to be the most fun character to see how he changes over this season. He really is. Overall, this was a damn solid episode. It actually went by pretty quickly. I mean, I was surprised that the 20 minutes just flew right by. Everything just went so smoothly. So yeah, we now have character introductions for all 5 Rangers. And we can like all 5 of them, which is great. We know the story of how everyone got their energems. Only thing I'm still curious about is How did Kendall and Keeper meet? Because I don't think Keeper would make that power, seeing he sort of has a mysticalness to his character. I'm waiting to see what comes of that, because clearly they have some sort of backstory together. Chase is sort of a goof-off, but he has the heart to do what's needed when he has to. Very much like Xander from Mystic Force, except not annoying. But this episode did break the trend, because they didn't use any sort of unconventional weapons against their monsters. It was great to count while it lasted. It's very subtle, but Kota is developing as a character each episode, and I'm paying very close attention to the little details of him. So 5 episodes in, every one of them is good to watch. It almost makes me want to see them do something wrong, just so I can have something new to say at the end of these reviews. So I really can't wait for episode 6. Until then, I'm Jargus Zero, and thanks for watching. And until next time, let the power protect you.
I just risked my life for the most beautiful little kitty. Go, go, power!